So as we said at the beginning, your marketing is not about you. I think if there was any message that I could repeat over and over to accountants, it would be this one. And to encourage you, it's not just accountants. Everyone who struggles with marketing often does so because they are thinking of themselves. How can I get sales? How can I improve my business? How can I get leads? And whilst the best marketing does deliver that, absolutely, if you go in with the mindset of, I want to get sales, I want to turn this into a new client, your prospect is going to feel that. So we want to turn it around and help you have this generous approach that says, we want to help people. We want to teach. We want to problem solve. We want to deliver. And when you make it all about them and not about you in your marketing, then you're more honest. They're more free to make the decision that they want to make, and they never feel pressured. I am sure that you guys as accountants hate the feeling of being pressured. I hate it myself. If I feel that somebody's pushing me, I will back off, even if it sounded like a great opportunity at the beginning. Relationship is what enables people to trust and to make the decision on their own time. So what you want to think about in terms of your buyer is what is it that moves them? How do they make decisions? And some of the questions we have here for you to consider, how are they motivated? What are they frustrated by? What are they inspired by? How do they communicate? I'm often sharing with accountants that one of the reasons to be present on all the social media engines and on your website, have live chat and email and all the elements of communication, is because everybody has different preferred forms of communication. We're actually getting to the point now with all the forms of communication we have merely sitting on our phones, is that it's not even about the preferred form, but the form of communication they happen to be in at the time when they think of you. So if they're in Facebook, or they're in a text message, or they're on a phone call, or they're replying to an email, they will tend to use the form of communication that they happen to be in at the time. This is another reason why it doesn't matter if somebody contacts you in a direct message on social media, or an email, or live chat, or they call you, or they text you. It doesn't matter. That doesn't say, oh, okay, everybody wants to text us, so none of the others matter. It just happened to be the one that they preferred at the time. So when you know these things, this helps you to communicate with them, connect with them in a way that's relevant to them. So what we want to encourage you to do as you consider your audience is to actually give them a specific name, like have a specific person in mind for your marketing. Some people call this the ideal client. Some people call it a buyer persona. I don't really care what you call it, but you do need to come up with a person, a summary person, who represents the very, very best type of client that you want. And doing this will help you direct your marketing to them. So one of the ways to do this is simply pick your favorite client. The one that you like the best, that is the most profitable, that you get the best results for, that you would love to have loads more clients like them. If you already have clients, that's one of the ways you can do it. You can say, well, my favorite client is, let's use the name Jeff, for example. Say his name is Jeff, and you're like, he's a great guy. He really values the advice that I give. Whenever he has a problem, he gets in touch. He actually brought me a couple other pieces of business because he thinks we're so great. I wish all of my clients were like Jeff. So if that's the case, you can build your ideal client or your buyer persona around this type of person. And you can say, okay, so his name's Jeff, and he owns 2 businesses, and he's located in, this is not the actual Jeff, I'm just going to make this up. This Jeff is located in Seattle, and he's got, 2 kids and a dog. I mean, I did this process with an accountancy firm once, and their buyer persona was a guy called Neil, who was a creative agency director, lived in Manchester in the UK, on a boat, actually on like a canal, had a pet fish whose name was Nemo, and there was great laughter and there was a lot of joking, But they were coming up with specific things about the type of agency that Neil had and the size that it was and how many businesses and the issues he had with his business partner. And they were going on about this because they knew that that's the kind of agency that they best worked with. And that's what you need to do for your potential buyer, is you need to come up with this so that when you write a blog, that's to help Jeff. When you write an email, you're saying, "Dear Jeff, we have an event coming up and we thought you'd like it." When you do it that way, it becomes different than this vague, professionally worded, I'm putting that in quotes because most of the time these days in marketing, professional means boring. And we don't want to be boring. We want to be human and interesting. You guys know that if you get an email that is crafted in a way that sounds like somebody's writing it to you, you're far more likely to read it. We were talking about this recently. If we write an email saying 5 reasons to go to this event, what if they've never heard of this event? What if they don't care? Why should they read the 5 reasons if they don't need any reasons? They're just going to delete it. People are looking for an opportunity to delete emails and say no. They're looking for it. They're desperate for it. Because once they find that, it's another thing off their list. Phew, I don't even have to think about it. Nope, it's too expensive. Nope, it's too late. Nope, not interesting. So you want to give them something that is so relevant to them, they can't help but open it. They can't help but connect with it because it's focused on them. So I mean, even just screenshot this and work on this as an exercise. Come up with the person's name and how old they are and where they're located and all this information about them so that you can craft your marketing for them. You can have multiple personas if you need to, multiple niches. We'll talk about that. But you've got to think about what they want and what's in it for them. We've mentioned pretty much anything you read from PF, you're going to come up against this book, which is the single best marketing book for accountants to read. I have never seen a book that has inspired accountants to do their own marketing and be more hopeful about how simple marketing actually is than this book. And the concept is they ask, you answer. Right there on the front of the book. They ask the question, you answer it in a blog post, in a video, on a web page, and an infographic, in a PDF guide by running an event. Whatever their problems are, you deliver that. So you need to know your sample buyer client, Jeff, what problems does he have? What issues is he facing? What kinds of things is he actually asking about? And you, as I said, you can come up with a couple of them. You can have sample client Jeff and sample client Jill, sample client Karen. These people, you can craft marketing for them. The more targeted your marketing, the better. So coming up with those things is going to help you deliver content that is relevant to them. So that leads us nicely to this next section on niche, because we want to look at what happens when your audience gets very, very, very specific. Now, here's the thing with the niche market. The old way of doing marketing says, and I'm going to run through this pretty quickly. I've done whole massive presentations on the whole thing, but the short version is, this is the old way of doing business. The old way was, okay, well, we'll just take whoever. We'll take anyone and everyone. That will give us lots of variety. That variety will lead us to have loads of experience with different kinds of businesses, which will then lead us to more clients because they'll all refer. And naturally, as we all know, the more clients you get, the more profit you have. It just leads right directly to that. And the more profit we have means that we can serve more. So then we take more people and the circle continues. That's the dream. That's the idea. That's what people think often when they start businesses, and it doesn't work. And it particularly doesn't work for accountants now because competition is so high. There are so many other accountants out there that in order for you to stand out and for there to be enough business to go round, which there is, by the way, but in order for there to be enough business to go round for everyone and for your buyer to have an easy decision, you need to have, instead of everyone, have a very specific someone. Now, with a niche, this someone could be an industry, a type of person or business. So it could be female-owned businesses in the greater Washington area, owned by women who have recently been through a relationship breakup, and so therefore they have a new business they're starting with some money that they got from that situation. I kid you not, I have an accountancy firm for whom that is their target market. That's how specific you can be. Now, not everybody can be that specific straight away, but you certainly can seek to get to more specific, because the more specific you are, the easier it is for your buyer to make a decision. So what happens when you pick somebody rather than everybody is that instead of taking anyone and everyone, you can pick and choose. You're the one who decides the kinds of things that you want to do. You're the one that decides the kinds of clients that you want to take on. And when you do that, you've got a remarkable ability to serve them in a way that is relevant to them. So it's not about you, it's about them. So when you pick and choose, the question is, well, does that give me variety? Of course it does. You still have variety. You're still working with human beings and businesses. So you get variety of people. I know firms who have niched. There's a firm, the one I mentioned in Manchester, is exclusive, a digital creative agencies located in Manchester. And they initially thought, I wonder if this is going to be, have enough variety. And they found that it absolutely has enough variety, because that is what allows them to work with different kinds of people, and they can be more efficient with it. So when you serve a specific area, then you have variety because they are humans, because they have different issues. Every company, every type of business has different issues. And that leads you to experience, and you get more experience than ever because you are massively experienced in that niche, in that area. And all of that variety of different kinds of businesses in that area or that industry or that type of person or business absolutely leads you to more clients, because they will say, I was thinking of working with an accountancy firm and I'm a dentist. And you go, I know these guys and they work with dentists. It's a no-brainer. So they would say, well, you have to go work with them. You're a dentist. They work with dentists. Easy. And that makes you more profitable because you're more efficient and you know them better, and your systems are able to tick over and be more profitable, which means you can serve more, which means you can then pick and choose even more specifically. So that is a very powerful way to address your marketing. It is the ultimate goal, in my opinion, for accountants to have a niche, but you don't have to be in a rush to get there, because in order to have a niche, you need to have experience. You need to actually know what you're doing with that niche. You need to be able to help them. It needs to be profitable. You need to like them. And these things take time. So I know a lot of firms who try different niches until they find one that works, or maybe they have 2 or 3. I would recommend no more than 3. If you have more than 3, it's not a niche. It's just an area. But a niche is a targeted, focused area that you serve particularly well, and ultimately you do it to the exclusion of others. So you want to serve someone as opposed to everyone. And I've got just a little quick diagram. As I said, I could spend ages on this, but the short version is, as you're looking for picking a niche, some of the ways to do that is to look at you, them, and the way. So the you is, what do you do best and who do you do that for? Look at historically, what kinds of things just keep coming up over and over again? Who do you tend to work with? And do you enjoy working with and get great results for? Then you want to look at them. So what do they want? What do they need? And it's not enough just to find what people want and need and deliver it for them. You've got to, what we're ultimately looking for is this circle in the middle here. What you do best and who you do that for, what they want and need, and the fastest and best way for you to deliver that. If you find something in this little area where you do it really well, you do it for a certain type of person or business, it fits what they want and need, and you have figured out the fastest and best way to deliver it, That is extremely powerful. That's your kind of ultimate goal. But there's a lot you can do in your marketing and choosing your audience to get to that point.